There is a story of Jim Carrey writing himself a $10 million check before he ever reached stardom. And in order to see the greatest shifts in your life, if you're struggling and you feel like you're behind or a failure, in order for you to bridge that gap and reach your dream life, you have to shift your internal state and basically lie to yourself all the way until you become successful, and it's ingrained within the deepest parts of your subconscious mind, and something that Neville Goddard calls living in the end. And so many practitioners of the New Thought manifestation type of philosophy believed that in order for you to trick reality into allowing your manifestation to come into fruition, you yourself have to change your internal state, your nervous system, some of the neurological wirings in your brain, to make sure that when you take action, when you walk, when you wake up, when you breathe, that it is aligned with the ideal reality that you want to manifest. And so many examples of this can be seen in athletes that use mental rehearsal to trick their brain into believing that the success that they desired has already happened. There's so many people like Kobe Bryant or Michael Phelps, and some of the greatest golfers or artists, people in the Olympics, also have to reach this same level of mental clarity as well as almost imagination on a daily basis. One of my mentors, who's a very successful entrepreneur doing multiple eight figures, also told me that those same levels of manifestation and mental rehearsal that those high level athletes do is the same thing he does, and he learned in his high level masterminds as well. Which is why if you want to be an entrepreneur or someone who's very successful and a high performer, it's very important to optimize the mental realm, because if you can master the realm within, when the world without doesn't go your way, you're not scoring as many points as you want to, your content isn't doing as good, your business isn't growing, you can continue to persevere and still be aligned with that dream reality, and then eventually reality will catch up. And not only from this perspective of mental trickery, but there's also something called the placebo effect, in which sugar pills outperform real medicine when belief, or strong enough belief, is present. Even potential surgeries, there's been studies that I was looking into, something called the psychosomatic experience, basically the study of the mind-body connection. I can't remember the exact terminology. I think it's called neuroimmunology, something of that nature, but they showcase that if you give someone a fake surgery, or that they're going to do a procedure on their body and it's not really done for pain, to alleviate their pain, they found out that they would actually cause them to no longer feel the pain in their knee or their back, even though the surgery never took place. And there's so many ancient rituals, and a lot of evolutionary psychologists believe that we evolved as human beings with these different cultures, symbols, and rhythmic patterns to basically change our brain's wave state, and then force ourselves to becoming a new identity, which is what a lot of the shamans, as well as ancient traditional African indigenous cultures did, is that you would be able to have a new birth or a rebirth once you were to take these specific psychedelic compounds in combination with the rituals and the music, as well as all of the other things that are coinciding with that individual truly believing what is taking place. And this allows them to identity shift, and some of the oldest, most ancient practices of identity shifting are found in indigenous cultures. Oftentimes, your subconscious mind doesn't know the truth between a truth and a repeated suggestion, or just a blatant lie. It really just responds to emotion. And from a neurological perspective, trauma, some of the strongest bonds in your brain from a traumatic experience are formed depending on the strength of the emotion. So if you go through a traumatic experience, the neural pathways in your brain are so deeply ingrained compared to all of the other experiences that happen in your daily reality that you completely ignore. But if your mother were to die, or if you were to get into a horrible accident, or something were to happen to you and you were to get abused, especially when you were still developing neurologically as an adolescent child, then what would end up happening is those neural pathways in your brain are so much deeper than everything else. And in order for your subconscious mind to truly manifest or become someone that you desire, those those pathways have to change. And all of these things shape the reticular activating system, which basically filters reality to match your own existing internal beliefs. And if you have negative experiences, your reticular activating system is going to have a negative connotation towards all the things that you perceive in reality. On top of that, the neuroplasticity is going to be shaped in a manner that is formulated to look at the world in a negative way, or in a way that puts you down subconsciously and you don't feel as if you have a strong enough self-esteem, as well as even just being in a state of cognitive dissonance when your actions contradict your identity, and your brain will try to resolve it either by dragging you down or forcing you to level up. And it's almost like using and hacking some of the psychology and neurology in your brain to perceive a reality in a way that's going to allow you to achieve your goals and become much more successful. You are not a static being that's fixed in this world. You are a narrative, a story that you're constantly telling yourself. And the beauty of being a human being is that you can continuously evolve and grow and shift your psychology. And neuroplasticity, as many scientists and research that's coming out, is showcasing that the brain is much more malleable than we thought, and that maybe we don't just stop truly developing our brain when we're 25, but it is a lifelong process. And there's so many people who face Alzheimer's or neurological impairment that find ways to develop new neural pathways. And in this research, through these bad negative experiences and diseases, really goes to show that we can still shift and change our brain even as we age. So if you're older and you have a narrative inside of your head that you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, or that you can't achieve certain things in life, that is a narrative that has been subconsciously programmed inside of you, that you've been telling yourself over and over and over again. And you can tell yourself a new story, and you can tell yourself that you're an entrepreneur, or you're someone that executes quickly, you're someone that achieves excellence in all of the things that you pursue. And it can become reality if your brain and the narrative that you rewire your subconscious mind to aligns with it. And in order to interrupt this pattern of this trauma or limiting beliefs and pain that you wake up to every single day, that not only your mind remembers but your body remembers, in order to truly interrupt this pattern, you have to lie with intention. You must speak with a new name, a new thought, a new frequency, even if it feels false or uncomfortable, because eventually it will become comfortable. And this is what Neville Goddard talked about when he meant that assuming the wish is fulfilled. You don't want to wait to be rich to feel like you're secure. You don't want to wait to be successful to feel like you're a success or that you're intelligent, but you can feel secure and intelligent so that your body naturally emits and exudes excellence and wealth, and that is something that you will attract in all of the things that you do and pursue. This is one of the hidden truths about manifestation that people often ignore, is that when you are already embodying the frequency of who you want to become, it is inevitable that you will become that person, and those things will start to come. Now, not all lies truly serve your evolution. There's a difference between lying to evolve and lying to escape. There's a difference between lying for ascension and for progression, and lying that will ultimately cause degradation to yourself and others around you. Assuming a higher self and pretending that nothing is wrong with what you're currently doing might just be spiritual bypassing. And when someone uses these affirmations to ignore their actual pain or the issues that they go through, that's not true transformation or transmutation, that's just denial. And one of the key distinctions is that when you take action and you have a proper feedback loop and you're truly progressing with that identity, is when it becomes healthy self-deception. But when you are just deluding yourself and maladaptive daydreaming all day and thinking that you're going to become the greatest, but you aren't even truly aligning yourself with that reality in terms of the actions that you're taking, the manifestations that are starting to happen in your reality, in your internal reality, then it's never going to really happen on the external if you're truly just lying to yourself and not taking the action necessary or the footsteps necessary to see the reality that you want come into fruition. And you have to lie to yourself to activate the true potential within you, not to numb down the parts that you don't like. And some of the things that you can do to change your subconscious mind is activate the neuroplasticity pathways inside of your brain through meditation, playing games, exercise, sun gazing. I truly believe that there's going to be a lot of research about neuroectoderm, our skin and our brain, and the connection between the sun and our eyes, and how all of these things, such as grounding, getting out in the sun early in the morning, can really help generate healthy neurons inside of your brain, as well as cause your overall health to increase so that you are a better human being biologically, which then subsequently will allow your mental and neurological health to function at a better level so that you can feel better, walk better, talk better, and achieve your dream desire. And one of the things that you can do is micro alignment. Each small act, whether if you're in a super deep rut, you want to clean your room, or deciding to finally start saving $10, $20, starting to maybe make your first video, to step outside of your current bounds and your current perception of reality in a micro manner is extremely important, especially with studies that they've done on people who are depressed, because your brain is now perceiving reality in the opposite manner in terms of a positive manifestation. When you're depressed, your brain is perceiving reality in a negative way, and it is literally neurologically shifted to view things in a negative way. Your fight or flight activating system is basically always on, and people sometimes even wake up with just negative thoughts that they can't even control, which just goes to show that your brain is going to lie to you either way. It's just a matter of being in control of the lies that it tells you.